This video is brought to you by Joa, maker of premium Tesla and vehicle accessories. Claim your discount by using the link in the description below.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another full self-driving supervised video. We just got an update on the Cybertruck and the Model Y to 13.2.5.1. The Cybertruck still cannot take itself out of park and go into drive with the press of a single button like you can do in the Model Y, so I'm gonna tap here to go into drive. I just put my foot on the brake, and that should be all I need to do. Now I can press that button to turn on FSD, and Cybertruck, of course, is just going to awkwardly sit here and wait for somebody to start driving up before it goes. So we've been getting a lot of updates, and it doesn't want to go. So I don't know what to tell you. Oh, we got one more coming up. Let's just let everybody drive by here. There's absolutely nobody else on this street. Oh, it's thinking about it. Look at that little, I know it's kind of hard. I don't have the screen recording yet, but it thought about it. Decided, all right, forget this. I'm pressing the accelerator. There we go. Again, accelerator tap. Cybertruck is now happy to go. It'll do a cool little U-turn here, and we could be on our way. So we've been getting, I mean, we just had the update to 12, I don't know why I'm stuck on version 12, 13.2.5 a few days ago from 13.2.4, and now we got 13.2.5.1. Release notes are still not changing. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do here or fix with these little point releases, but to have an update just a couple of days apart, it does not typically happen. So they must have found something they really wanted to fix before they send this out to more people. I didn't really notice anything new that was negative. I've had, a decent amount of complaints about, it's just so weird. So the last video, man, you are getting up there. I definitely made some of you guys not happy with me. Some of you guys were not liking that I was kind of dunking on FSD not really having the ability to drive in the winter so well with the salt and the snow and everything. I totally get, some of you are like, well, you don't have winter tires and you're complaining about slipping. And like, you're totally right. Winter tires do a better job in the snow, but they don't, just because you have winter tires doesn't mean you can drive on ice and slam on your brakes on the snow and accelerate really hard on the snow. They have better grip for sure. And our Model Y, since that video, has switched to winter tires. So the winter tires are on there now. But if you change lanes or change your acceleration or hit the brake hard in a slick spot, you can still spin out and slide with the best snow tires, known to man. So it's a different driving style you have to have when you're driving on snow and ice that FSD just simply doesn't have yet. That's just a fact. And there were some really good comments in there where you guys were kind of saying, like, Tesla just needs to add a snow mode. We have chill, average, and assertive, or chill, average, and hurry, it's called now. And maybe just add a fourth profile that's snow, and then acceleration is much reduced. Deceleration is a lot farther back and a lot slower. That would fix most of my complaints on snow driving. And then the other part of that, where I was kind of talking about the problems, is the salt gets on the cameras. Like even today, I had to wipe my cameras off to even start kind of using FSD and stuff because they were just covered in salt. I didn't do anything special. I just drove around. I wasn't driving through puddles or anything crazy. I just literally was driving A to B to go to different destinations and normal routes that a robotaxi needs to do, and the cameras get covered in salt and they can't really see anymore. So now what's funny is in that last video, FSD did drive me A to B, and the only thing I did was change the speed one time, which is like the minimalist of interventions that are not necessary at all. You don't even really have to count it depending on how you want to look at the interventions and disengagements. You don't even have to count that one because in a robotaxi, it basically would just go a speed I wasn't happy with, and that, that would be that. And it would successfully make it there. But at the end of the drive, that robotaxi, if that's what it was, would not have been able to continue its job without the assistance of a human on the outside of the vehicle coming up and wiping the cameras off, or, whatever Tesla's plan for that is. And, you can definitely have a pop-up message for the person exiting the robotaxi or the next person to come in and say, like, hey, could you, it's kind of goofy. Like, imagine you go up to a taxi and the guy's like, yo, could you clip my windshield before we start driving? It's so funny. But you could definitely have a little pop-up that says, yo, could you wipe off, this camera here for me? I just, would help out. And then it could take the person. But the concern comes in where, what happens when those cameras get too covered in the middle of a drive, right? Obviously, you can't hop out on the highway and clean off a camera in the middle of a drive, middle of the road, whatever's got to happen. So I'm just always, ever since the beginning of FSD, I'm just, being realistic with you guys. Whether you like it or not, personally, I don't think I'm going to be sleeping in the backseat of my Cybertruck as it drives me to work anytime this year. I would love to be wrong on that, but I don't see that happening. Now, here's what I do see happening. Let's turn it a little more positive, because I've been very positive about FSD pretty much the whole time. You know, even when sorry, my hands are cold, so I want to touch the heated steering wheel, even though I don't need to. I've been very positive about FSD. I love it. I love what it can do today, right now. We're doing today just a normal A to B drive, and we're going to check it out and see if it can kind of take me to these different places. I did add in downtown here to add a little more excitement and challenge into this video, but here's what I do think could happen. So as of right now, you don't have to use your hands. Now, Tesla doesn't advertise that, but with the attention monitoring, the camera up, you know, I would say above the rear view mirror. I don't have one though, but the camera up here in the middle, if it can see your eyes or see your head, you know, well enough, you don't have to touch the steering wheel unless it asks you to. And you can go a full drive without ever touching this. But you have to pay attention. So what I see possibly happening sometime this year, maybe not in Michigan, but maybe in the California and Texas, like Tesla talked about, is the unsupervised part in terms of, all right, FSD is on, you can now look at your phone, read a book, whatever. But I think, especially in the beginning, and I think for a long time, again, this is all just my guess based on my end user experience, I'm guessing that for a long time, Tesla's going to have a human in the driver's seat, even if it's unsupervised, even if we're going, you know, thousands of miles in between disengagements, which I don't think is very much. I think you need millions of miles. But if we're going thousands of miles without intervention or anything, you'll have a human here, and maybe I'll be allowed to read a book or text or whatever I want. But the human's going to have to be ready if the car needs help. I do see that because many of my drives, if I'm not being picky about being rude and stuff, which I am, I do care about that. But if we kind of ignore that stuff and more talk just like either safety critical stuff or things where the car needs help because it gets stuck somewhere, those are very rare. They really are pretty rare. On a fleet-wide basis, I don't think they're that rare. But for me as an individual, they're pretty rare. So I could definitely see Tesla says, all right, you need to be in the driver's seat and like kind of, you can't sleep, be ready, you know, excuse me, be ready, hang out. We'll let you know if we need anything, but we probably won't, right? And outside of me putting it into challenging scenarios, which we'll continue to do, I do think that is something that could happen potentially this year. I could sit here, Tesla says I'm allowed to text. Now, how will that work with laws? Because, you know, if a cop sees me texting, I'm getting pulled over, I'm definitely getting a ticket. It doesn't matter what Tesla says. So I'm kind of ignoring that aspect of it for right now. But just capability-wise, that's something I see as a possibility. We can hang out in here. We don't have to pay that much attention. Again, this is future, not right now. We won't have to pay that much attention. Tesla kind of gives us the green light, like, you know, just hang out. We'll let you know if we need you. So on the positive end, that's what I do see. What I don't see is this thing driving around with nobody in the driver's seat or no human in it at all. I'm sorry, it's just, I'm not going to lie to you, you know, and be like, yeah, everything's great. It's going to be a robotaxi any day now. I don't see it. I just don't. For many reasons, which I've talked about, you know, in the past videos. So let's focus on this. What we have here, Chuck Cook already posted, showed his Model Y was going to drive on the wrong side of the road. So, you know, robotaxi ready. And that's why it's still supervised and everything. Is that a common occurrence? Probably not. But it does lead me to like one more subject that I want to talk about. I've been kind of talking to you guys a lot about different stuff. And these, you know, as the drives get easier and better, I can kind of just hang out and talk to you guys more about some of this stuff. All right, cool. We'll let it go down here. Let me get this out of here. So, what was I saying? Now I'm forgetting. One thing that people, I always thought this was kind of crazy, but now I'm starting to believe it more as I experience these updates more and more, is we'll get like an initial update. So like version 13 is here. Whoa, this is crazy. And like, it's always very exciting, especially when the car has new capabilities, like it can back into the parking spots and park itself and do other stuff. And we're all impressed and it's awesome. And then we, like anything in life, humans, we kind of get used to whatever we have, right? So even the fact that you can walk into a grocery store and there's food for days, you know, we're all very lucky that that's the way our lives are. There was a time not long ago where food was hard to get, right? And you're like, what are you talking about? But we're all used to that, right? It's normal to walk into a grocery store, at least here in America. It's normal to be able to walk into a grocery store, just buy whatever food you want, any day you want, 5 days a week, once a month, however often you want to shop, and have all the food you want and not worry about it. But we're just used to that. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody cares in the context of the USA, you know, and most developed countries. This is the same thing with FSD and anything. this is amazing and cool, but people get used to it. There's going to be a time in the future, 20 years from now, when people maybe come across one of my videos or something, or it comes up in conversation, like, people used to watch videos of these self-driving cars, and it's like, what? Who cares? Cars drive themselves all over the place. Like, well, why would anyone watch that video? You know what I'm saying? So, I say all that to say, we get used to it. And so a new version comes out, we're very excited, then we can kind of start nitpicking after, a few weeks or a few months and be like, okay, well, it's good, but here's what needs to be better. A lot of people had this thought that as updates came out, they were getting worse. So you'd get version 13 and then subsequent updates would make it worse. And I was always like, no, it's just that we're getting used to it. And then, we're noticing the flaws as these updates come out and we get used to how good it is. But part of me is starting to think that maybe they do get worse, at least sometimes. None of this is going to be a hard, fast rule. None of this is even permanent. It doesn't mean that every next release of version 13 is going to be worse than previous ones. But I just noticed that, like, for example, my hurry mode. Oh, we are in hurry right now. I don't know how it's been performing in this video. I haven't actually been paying much attention to my speed limit because I'm chatting with you so much. But on my way to work this morning, my hurry mode was garbage. Early version 13, I was so excited because hurry mode would go over the speed. It would do what I wanted. It would go faster than the speed limit. It would keep up with local traffic, all that good stuff. But today, and the past week or two or three, even Stephanie has been mentioning to me, I don't even bring it up. She brings it up to me. She goes, yo, what's going on with hurry mode? And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't say anything. And she's like, it's not driving fast anymore. And it's now driving below the speed limit a lot of times. And it's like, maybe, you can see all this schmutz up here on my windshield. I did my best to clean it off, so I hope it's clean up there. It seems to be driving okay. Maybe it has something to do with that, but it's not like that for weeks. We only had the salt the past few days. I don't know. I'm just throwing these ideas out there. It's not a hard rule that every time we get an update until the next full, point release, it's not going to get worse and worse until version 14. But it's just something I'm throwing out there. So anyway, with all that said, we've been driving now for 11 minutes and I have not even thought about taking over or doing anything. So this drive so far has felt really, really good. All accelerations, decelerations, and everything is really good. And part of that, I believe, is because I'm talking to you so much. I'm sitting here, I'm having a conversation kind of with myself, but with future you when you're watching this. And I'm not nitpicking everything the car's doing. Maybe there was a point where it was going too slow or a little too fast or something. I just didn't think about it or, notice it. And that's what's going to happen as this gets better and better, especially as we get to unsupervised. Nobody's going to care if the turn signal turns on, a couple seconds too early. Nobody's going to care when it does a lane change or if it's a little late or a little early. Even wrong turns, people won't notice eventually. They'll be like, they won't know. As long as you get A to B, that's all that's going to matter. So I'm really happy with how it's doing in this, little more tighter congested area. It let that truck come over, no problem. No weird braking. This is incorrect. We're supposed to be going up there and turning left, but I'm just going to let it, just like I said, wrong turn. I'm going to let it do this wrong thing, and we'll see how it corrects for that. Let's just see here. There's just a couple of cars we got to wait for. There are people to our right, so we cannot switch back over. Now we could. Yep, it's going to switch back now that it sees. I better do it fast. Okay, and it's not getting in anyone's way. We'll click the report there. It didn't stop anyone from making that left turn. We got out of the way before that happened. But yeah, it's interesting to see it make a mistake like that. And that's what I talk about. It's like when you're in an area you're not familiar with, you'll get into a left turn lane. You're like, oh, dang it, this is the wrong one. Hold on, let me fix that. That's exactly what it just did. It's very cool. So let's keep going here. Let it get us to our destination. So that was incorrect turn into that left turn lane there. I think this person kind of spooked the Cybertruck a little bit. They were moving over a little bit into our lane, and I don't think they were technically, normally that's 2 left turn lanes, but I think because of that closed lane back there, it's not supposed to be like that. But whatever, handled it great, very gracefully, no hard braking or anything, really nice. All right, so we got an unprotected left here. We are gonna kind of go to our final destination. I mean, it's been working really well. We kind of made it through the downtown part. Again, I didn't make this a crazy, torture test. I can do those again in the future. I just had to do some stuff at lunch today. So yeah, really nice job waiting there. Nice wide turn, perfect. The one thing I'll comment on that has been pretty poor for Cybertruck that's felt really good so far today, including before I recorded this video, just like my own driving. Braking has felt great, and that was always a complaint of mine, is hard, late braking on Cybertruck, and that's been getting better, but this, so far in this version, again, I only have what was that, 40 something miles on this version. It does feel good so far. So I'm liking that. That is definitely improvement. So we don't have anything too crazy left, but you know, sometimes these boring stretches are where you'll find the weird mistakes with FSD. But these are going to be like newer roads. I mean, I drive on this stuff, but I don't make a whole lot of videos around this area. So we'll see how it does. Yeah, nice job with that lane change. It's kind of a thin lane, but I was thinking it might follow. FSD really likes to follow other vehicles, like for sure. If it has a lead vehicle, it's going to kind of do whatever they do a lot of the time. But it did not follow that person into the illegal lane change. Man, really nice preemptive moving around this person. It saw that they were slowing and turning left there. And FSD did not want to wait for them. So that's good. And then I've talked about this on X a lot, but if you guys are using FSD a lot and like you're finding your drives are good, you don't have to, this is awesome. You still have one hand free, you know, don't freak out, safety people. We're all safe here. You still have one hand free if you got to take over. But if your hands are just gonna be sitting here chilling, I've been like, what can I do that's productive and safe in this time now that FSD is getting so good? And my grip has always been a weakness of mine, especially my left hand. I got a broken pinky. And this has been like, I don't know. I think it's a great thing to do. Give it a little strength, do a little strength training, you know, while you're FSDing. So they're cheap and they're good for you. So that's my recommendation. So here's a little late on the yellow, and let's see how this braking is. No, perfect, perfect, perfect. That's the kind of braking on the older versions that it would, even like on a late yellow, it would wait so long and hit the brakes really hard at the end and almost do this kind of stuttering thing as it came to the line. That felt really good. So we have had this right turn in the videos before because it's such a bend in the road. It's hard to see. Oh man, we're already going. You can see we're like in between the left and the right turn lanes because you really got to do this and kind of get over into the right turn lane. And FSD just has never been that great at it. And I think in the Cybertruck it's worse. The Model Y in the later versions seem to get a little better at staying over to the right, but you can't just simply like go with the bend. You have to really intentionally kind of get around it if you don't want to obstruct that left lane. And I think Cybertruck's just still a little too goofy to be doing that. All right, we got the blinking yellow here and handled flawlessly. I mean, geez, man. Again, it's not the most complicated drive, but it's just a normal A to B drive and it feels great. It's doing so well. It's a sunny day. I love the sun. And if you're watching this far, give a happy birthday shout out to Stephanie, the wife of Dirty Tesla. And this is like the first drive probably ever in the Cybertruck, definitely the first drive I've recorded for a video in the Cybertruck where I have not felt that I want the Model Y in terms of FSD. I mean, this drive has felt so good. It's not awkward. It's not too slow. Even riding the lines is really good. On my way to work this morning, it was riding the right white line like the whole time, almost going off the road. And I was like, man, this is the latest update. What are you doing? But yeah, this drive has been amazing. Love this. I love, love, love that it doesn't wait behind these slow vehicles when there's a chance to get around them. You know, if there's other vehicles, of course, we just brake like we have to. But especially in hurry mode, FSD doesn't waste any time. It's really nice. And here we go. We're about to end our drive here. I did not want the pin there. I was trying to put it in the parking lot. See if we can adjust this real quick while we're waiting to... trying to get it to at least attempt to park, even though, again, not a supported feature, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I'll throw up the stats here. There's 0 intervention, 0 disengagement drive. So as soon as I start being a little pessimistic with you guys and talking about, like, no robo-taxi, blah, 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 then this thing wants to perform flawlessly. I mean, there's pretty much nothing on this drive I would have done differently. I literally, this is the best Cybertruck drive I've ever had. It's here on camera. I mean, you can see it. This is the best Cybertruck drive with FSD I have ever had by far. And I'm very happy because I was feeling a little down about Cybertruck FSD for a while because the Y was just so much better. And yes, I want the button out of park and, you know, actually smart summon and everything. But holy moly, this felt really good. This felt really good. I'm really happy with this. So hope you enjoyed this one. You will see me and maybe FSD in the next video.